In today's show, we are going to look back at Sunday's games. We're going to preview Monday's action. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com and at Yahoo Sports Australia. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is also brought to you by Built Bar. Go to builtbar.com and use the promo code Locked On and you'll get 20% off your next order. For everyone asking, Josh, are you still doing the daily recap shows? Yes, nothing is changing. I'm recapping all of the games from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I have days off on the Friday and Saturday games, but I recap them all. Nothing has changed there, and that's what we're doing in today's show. So let's get into recapping those games from Sunday with the first game, which was an absolute ass-kicking. The Mavericks beat the Clippers 124-73. That's 51 points. It wasn't even that close, to be honest. It was actually probably more of a blowout than that score would give you. So I don't know what takeaways we can get. 21 points from Tim Hardaway, cool, in 27 minutes on 62% shooting, but I'm not really sure that he's a guy that we need to roster. That's really good, but that's not going to happen every game. Sorry, not 21 points. That was Josh Richardson who had 21 points on 62%. Hardaway had 18 points on 50% shooting in 23 minutes, which is still strong. He hit 4 threes, but he's just a streaming option to me. Jalen Brunson and Trey Burke, they are just cannibalizing each other's minutes. Luka Doncic had 24, 9, and 8. And probably the number one takeaway out of this entire game was the fact that Doncic went 8 of 9 through the from the free throw line, which is awesome. And he's been much, much better at the line, which is going to increase his value. He still didn't hit a 3 in this game, and his defensive stats are wanting, and that's what keeps him away from being the top player. But good to see him getting those free throw numbers. On the Clippers side of things, it's a real shit show. There was no Kawhi Leonard because he got smacked in the mouth by Serge Ibaka on the weekend. Hopefully there's nothing too serious. It doesn't appear to be, which is good, but he missed this game. Nick Batum played 22 minutes. He had 4, 6, and 1. He's okay as that stream option, but when Marcus Morris comes back, I don't know how that's all going to work. Reggie Jackson played 21 minutes too many. He ended up with 21 minutes, 8 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist for Jackson, while Ibaka had 13 and 9 in 20 minutes. And I am not sure that he is a guaranteed must-roster 12-team league player, Serge Ibaka. I'm not sure if it's a Zubats is either, but Ibaka is a little bit up and down. They're sort of playing him almost in the Zubats role from last year. Minimal minutes as the starter, and while he can be okay, there are definitely better high upside players around than Serge Ibaka, which makes him someone that you can leave out. Paul George, 15 points in 24 minutes. Not that great at all. Luke Kennard started for Kawhi, had 7 points. Realistically, it's hard to get too invested in the results of this game, given how much of a blowout it was, and make sweeping judgments based on how things went down. If we do move on to the second game, which is something we're absolutely going to do right now, the Nets and the Hornets. How about those Hornets? The pesky Hornets getting the win, 106-104. Definitely didn't expect that one after the Nets had come out looking so dominant to begin this season. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant played 36 minutes and 21 seconds each. Exactly. They played every single second with each other, which is what they're doing every game. 25 points and 6 assists for Kyrie. 29, 3, and 4 on a weird 6 of 9 from the line shooting from Durant. He looks really, really good. But I think he's 11th on a per-game basis at the moment, which is not far from the area he was being drafted. So those of you who let him slide to the second round, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And we're going to get a real test to see whether he plays in that back-to-back on Monday. Karis LeVert also started out red hot in game 1. 10, 5, and 4, a steal and a block, 33% shooting. Has struggled the next 2. He's dropped down to be, at the moment, the 85th ranked player. When people are healthy, I think he's going to struggle to maintain top 100 numbers. But I guess the bigger news for the Nets is Spencer Dinwiddie hurt his knee. I'm expecting him not to play on Monday. He was out for the second half. He'd already been struggling. He's outside the top 150 this season. I reckon he is pretty close to a drop guy in most formats, while DeAndre Jordan's just a specialist at this stage. 19 minutes for 12 boards, while Jarrett Allen, clearly the superior player. Nobody with a brain would argue otherwise, and he's getting those minutes at least. 8 and 14 in 25 minutes for Allen. Not saying that Allen is guaranteed to be a must-roster player, but he's pretty close to it, given the fact that they are at least giving him those extra minutes, which they should have been doing all along. Gordon Hayward looks great. 28, 6 and 7, 60% shooting, unbelievable stuff. While Miles Bridges, 10 and 4, but importantly, 2 threes, 1 steal, 2 blocks in 28 minutes. That's the most minutes he's played all season, bear that in mind. And he did get some extra playing time with the absence of Cody Zeller. He's fine as a streamer without being a must-roster player. Devontae Graham, just accept it. He's going to shit on your field goal percentage every game. 13 points on 33% shooting, but 3 threes, 2 steals, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. There are nice peripherals. When Terry Rozier has also cooled off after being the number one player after the first 2 games. After the first 2 nights, actually, Rozier had 19, 4, and 5 in 30 minutes. It's rough with LaMelo Ball at this point, but despite playing 17 minutes a night, he's only ranked 185th. 6, 5, and 5 with a steal and 2 threes. Those minutes went up to 20 in this game. I am still holding on to LaMelo at this point, while Biyombo is a nice big man addition. 12 and 6 in 30 minutes, and PJ Washington just really defecated on those percentages. 38 from the field, 33 from the line, but 14, 12, and 5 with 2 steals are some pretty sexy counting stats. He is and does remain a must-roster player despite those poor shooting numbers from Paul Washington Jr. If you're looking to place bets on how many shots Paul Washington's going to miss, not that that necessarily exists, but hey, maybe it does at Bet Online. The NBA season started. Football bowl season is around the corner. NFL playoffs, we're right here as well. There's only one place that has you covered, and there's only one place that we trust, and that is betonline.ag. If you sign up today with a free account at betonline.ag and you use our promo code LOCKEDON for your 50% welcome bonus. Unbelievable stuff. Who here would have thought that the Hornets could have beat the Nets? That was not the only upset in this day of games as well, and you could have made yourself some money if you had that inkling that that was going to happen. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in on the action, and don't forget to use that promo code LOCKEDON to receive 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. And if you are looking to get into placing more bets, you do it at Bet Online, but if you're betting on the NBA, it doesn't have to be a guessing game. If you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling, get daily picks and quick hitting advice to make the smartest possible wagers. Subscribe to Locked On Bets podcast, brought to you by betonline.ag, wherever you get podcasts. Alrighty. Let's move on to the next game. We're looking here at the New Orleans Pelicans beating the San Antonio Spurs 98-95. For the Spurs, Keldon Johnson was great again. 31 minutes, 14, 11, and 5. 2 threes, 1 steal, 2 blocks. Should not be on any waiver wires. Make sure he is rostered. Absolutely, really, really good. Rudy Gay, he turned back the clock. He actually had a Richie Beno.
2 for 2. 2
steals, 2 blocks, 2 triples, 22 points in 28 minutes. But I've got to talk about LaMarcus Aldridge. 20 minutes for Aldridge. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks. He's shooting threes. He's not hitting them. He's not playing. He hasn't exceeded 29 minutes in a game yet. Is it just because he's old? Is it because it's a back-to-back? Is it because he's shit? I think it's probably those first two. I am not dropping Aldridge, but I am absolutely worried. He is the 179th ranked player so far. He can be better than that, obviously. So maybe it's a little bit of a buy low, but I am absolutely worried. I've said before, I'm not sure if Aldridge is going to be a starter again in the league after this year. And Jakob Poeltl is someone I'm massively interested in on this Spurs team next season, but maybe Poeltl's the guy now. 23 minutes, 8 and 8, 2 blocks. I'm not overreacting. I'm not adding him in 12-team leagues, but I'm watching that. DeJounte had 13, 7, and 3, while Lonnie Walker, man, I don't think he's good. 16 points, 14 attempts, 4 threes, nothing else, 34 minutes. He is going to lose a ton when Derek White returns, and Devin Vassell is going to be out of the rotation. 12 minutes in back-to-back games for Vassell, 0 points, missed all 4 of his shots. If you added him, you can do the opposite of add, and that is kick his ass right off your roster. Lonzo Ball, 37 minutes, 16, 8, and 5, 5 steals. You know that I've been high on Lonzo for a long time. This is why. The shooting is here now. He can shoot. He gets rebounds. He gets assists. He gets steals. He's hitting threes. He doesn't hurt you at the free throw line because he doesn't really get there. He is good. And he's showing it right now. Ingram had 28, 11, and 6. Pretty horrible shooting numbers, 39% from the field, but 8 of 10 from the line is great. And how about Zion Williamson? Is the defense here? Is it? Let's hope so. 18 and 11, but 5 steals and a block. Now, uncharacteristically, Zion was 32% from the field. Most times he's going to be like 60%, and if he had been 60% from the field, we're talking about like a 30, 11, and 5 steal game, which is an absolute monster. The free throws are always going to be rough, but Zion's looking pretty good. And Van Gundy really shortened the rotation. So Josh Hart played 33 minutes, 12 and 10 for Hart, not much more than that. He's more of a 14-teamer than a 12-teamer, but that also helped that JJ Redick was ice cold. 1 of 8 from Redick for the field, 0 from 6 from 3. You won't see that too often. And it was a shit-house night from Eric Bledsoe, 7 points on 11 shots. I am not dropping Eric Bledsoe. I am holding him, but the last couple of games, they haven't looked all that good at this point. So you're just watching that one. Steve Adams had 8 points and Jackson Hayes is lost. He is not ready at all for big NBA minutes, despite the fact that Van Gundy gave him those minutes ahead of Nicolo Melli. Let's see how that one goes down the stretch. The Magic and the Wizards. The Magic win 120-113. Nikola Vucevic, only 28 minutes, but 15, 8, and 4. He's really, really good. Terrence Ross is on absolute fire. Top 40 player at the moment. 26 points, 4 triples, nothing else. 1 rebound and 0 assists. That is Nick Young territory. Ross at the moment, though, is red hot. Add him in 12s and see what happens. While my boy Markelle Fultz, I was high on him heading into the season. 26 in 29 minutes, 2 threes, 2 assists, a steal. Hit his free throws, 52 from the field. Really, really good. Evan Fournier, a bit disappointing, 19 points, but Cole Anthony again looks strong. 12, 7, and 3. Anthony's like a 14 to 16 team league guy at this point. He's not taking the job from Fultz, but he looks really comfortable. And Dwayne Bacon asserts himself again as the worst player in the NBA. 6 points in 17 minutes. Give it 2 weeks, he will not be in this rotation at all. You can write that down. While Aaron Gordon had 4 points in 20 minutes. He is on a minutes restriction, but he looks shithouse in this one. He will be better, so he's maybe a little bit of a buy low. For the Wizards, there was no Russ Westbrook, so Raul Neto. Who needs Westbrook when you got Raul Neto? 32 minutes, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Keep that one in your noggin for the games that Westbrook rests. The Tank, Tom Bryant. 16, 7, and 5, a steal, 2 blocks, 32 minutes. People are out there telling me that Bryant is on their waiver wire and they are considering dropping him. Surely after this, they're not. He needs to be on 0 waiver wires. 0. Brad Beal, 29, 5, and 7. Pretty inefficient, but massive usage. While Bonga just did his thing. Had a block, had 7 boards, and that's fine. 36 minutes for Denny Avdia. No foul trouble, unlike the last game. But realistically, 9 points on 36% shooting. 2 steals. The 9 boards are nice. He really started off well because he just never missed shots. Now he is missing shots. So, yeah, I'm not convinced that he is a must-roster 12-team league guy. He's ranked 169th so far this season. You're better off streaming that spot. I'm not sure that you're better off streaming Davis Bertans' spot, but I'm also not certain that it's a bad move. 5 points in 19 minutes. He's on a minutes restriction, and when he comes back, he's a points and threes guy. But remember, Hachimura also has to weirdly fit into this rotation as well. So I'm not dropping Bertans necessarily, but I don't think his upside is all that high that you have to cling on and just hold for dear life. I think you might have, especially in like 10s and 8s, I reckon you can do better. The Cavs and the Sixers. This is where shit went weird. The Cavs win 118-94, and those of you who don't have a calculator handy, that's a 24-point margin. That is big. Toby Harris, the thick hogsman.
I think I am a TH.
T to the H.
Yeah, TH for life.
Again, people wanted to drop this guy. Now, I'm not saying it's a great line, but 16 and 9 with 4 threes, 5 assists, and 3 steals. It's not a droppable player. Ben Simmons, 15 and 6 with 2 steals and 2 blocks. And remember, there was no Joel Embiid in this game. It was a back-to-back. I don't think he's actually hurt, but I think he'll be fine. They just said he had a bit of back tightness. Dwight Howard wasn't that great. Only 15 minutes, while Tony Bradley played more than him. That's how this game went down. While Shake Milton... I think we're getting an indication of what Shake Milton is as a player. 6 points in 22 minutes. He does absolutely nothing else. If he's not getting enough minutes and not enough shots and they're not going in, he's useless for fantasy. He is not a must-roster player. He is rostered in far too many leagues. He's fine as a streamer. They can talk him up as much as they want. He's not that good. Seth Curry had 8 points with 2 triples in 24 minutes, while Isaiah Joe got on the floor for his first action, and Tyrese Maxey had 22 minutes. I think Maxey is better than Milton, if not now, Give it a month, and he is going to be better than Shake Milton and be playing more than him. I don't know that for sure, but that is my estimation at this point. I don't need to make an estimation on this because Built Bar are the best tasting protein bars ever. 6 new flavors: caramel brownie, cookies and cream, cherry barcia, lemon almond cheesecake, carrot cake, and apple almond crisp. They join the roster off the waiver wire to join the original 12 OGs: coconut almond, raspberry, toffee almond. You know those flavors. These are the protein bars that taste like a candy bar, not like something that you scraped off the bottom of your shoe after traipsing through a muddy paddock filled with cows. Built Bar, it's the way to go. High fiber, high protein, low sugar, low calorie. They are great for the health-conscious person looking to lose weight or to maintain their current ripped physique like me. They call me the big triangle because of Built Bar, because of all that protein I'm getting at those low calories. The Cherry Barcia bar, just 4 grams of sugar and only 130 calories. Go to BuiltBar.com, use promo code LOCKEDON, and you'll get 20% off your next order. The promo code is LOCKEDON for 20% off at BuiltBar.com. Let's crack-a-lack on to the next one, which is the New York Knicks and the Bucks. What the hell's going on here? The Knicks win by 20 against the Bucks, 130 to 110. Let's talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Just shithouse again from the free throw line. It's going to happen. It's going to continually happen. 27-13-5 with 3 steals is good, while Punch Bob Shiploke. 17-7, 1 3, 1 steal, and 1 block. Should you add him? Absolutely not. No, you don't. Brook Lopez got into early foul trouble. Punch Bob is shithouse. He's not good. He'll have these occasional games and he'll put up a 4 and a 5 on a minus 40 in 10 minutes. That's just how he goes. Chrissy Middleton, not at his best, but still pretty good, while it was a stinker from Drew Holiday. 8, 4, and 5 with 2 steals, and Lopez also struggling. Brook Lopez outside the top 150 this season, but you do not drop him at this point. Let's just see how it goes. 6 points, 2 blocks, not a great night. Also a bit subpar for the big Ragu. Dante DiVincenzo, 10 points in his 24 minutes, and yeah, there's not a lot to celebrate. Although, if we're going to talk about the worst player in the NBA, we did before in Dwayne Bacon, but there's a bloke by the name of Bryn Forbes who's not far off. 1 point in 18 minutes. He just isn't good. I don't know how he gets rotation minutes or starter spot as he did with the Spurs, and I'm glad he's only as a backup here for this Bucks team. But let's talk about the good team. Let's talk about the team that gets the win, and that is the team that's led by the double royal, Julius Randle. All right, Tom Thibodeau likes him. 37 minutes, 29, 14, and 7, 3 threes. He had a block. He was actually amazing. This is awesome. He is not, I repeat, not giving up a starting spot to Obi Toppin. It is not happening. It's not happening. I was ready to move on from Alfred Payton. And then he has 27, 3, and 7 in 29 minutes on 75% shooting. I can tell you now that 29 usage on a true shooting of 80% is never going to happen again for Alfred Payton. But I was ready for Emmanuel Quickley to take this job. I'd say after this that he will get a little bit of a longer leash, and he's worth having in 12s. Alec Burks is as well, despite playing 21 minutes. Burks had 18, 2, and 5 with 4 triples. Well, how about this bloke? Did he take it from here?
And Mitch Robinson says, I'll take it from here.
Yes, 35 minutes, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. It's not a great line from Mitch. It's not fantastic, but I'm just encouraged he's playing this many minutes. Must roster guy. But on the flip side, Nerlens Noel, get rid of him. 13 minutes. Look, we thought he was going to start. That was everything that the Knicks were saying. He started the preseason games. He was going to start that opener, and then Robinson came in, and Noel's a backup, and they're not splitting minutes, so Noel, you get rid of him. Simple as that. You stream him in when you need defensive stats. The Fort, Kevin Knox, remains terrible, while RJ Barrett, he's sort of, he's sitting where he needs to sit now. 17 and 8, 41% shooting. And after him being this awesome guy in game 1, man, he's figured it out. He's fantastic. He's a 136th ranked player. Like, this is what happens. A great game, a shit game, one in the middle. This is sort of about where he fits. He's fine for 12-teamers. You just got to deal with the percentages that will be a problem. He didn't hit a 3 in this game. He didn't have a block. This is a very RJ Barrett sort of line. There was no Obi Toppin or Emmanuel Quickley. I think Quickley still has a chance to take this starting job from Payton at some point, but I reckon just this performance here from Lord Alfred will probably delay that decision a little bit. Let's go to the next one. It is the Boston Celtics. They go down to the Indiana Pacers, 108-107. Jason Tatum took his first free throws of the season, only 4 of them, but 25, 11, and 5 with 3 threes on 43% shooting. The field goal percentage is a real problem for him. He's the 27th ranked player so far. I had some hesitancy about him being that first round player because I said that, Yeah, the big numbers he had at the end of last season were on unsustainably good shooting. Now, this is probably unsustainably low, but his shot selection leaves a lot to be desired. Jaylen Brown had 18, 2 and 4 with 2 steals and a block. A good night from him. But we've got to talk about the Rock DJ, Robbie Williams. He got minutes over Daniel Tice because he earned them. He was better. And a lot of Celtics people think that he will be a starting center later on this year. 12 and 4 in 22 minutes for Rob Williams. 4 steals and 2 blocks on 86% shooting. I don't hate just adding him and seeing what happens as we move on. I think I would drop Daniel Tice, and Tristan Thompson has absolutely zero business being on a 12-team roster. If you have Tristan Thompson on your team, I don't even care who you're adding, just get rid of him. He shouldn't be there. But Williams, absolutely someone to grab. Marcus Smart hurt his shoulder late. He returned to the game, but let's see how that one pans out. 11, 3 and 6 for him, while Jeff Teague, just the 9 points. He's also not very good.
My name is Jeff.
He's getting outplayed by Peyton Pritchard, and when Kemba Walker's back, don't be surprised to see Jeff Teague out of the rotation completely. Pritchard, 13 points, 2 steals. He's only a deeper league guy, but he's looking pretty comfortable out there. For the Pacers, Miles Turner, just why they won't give this guy minutes, I don't know. But at this point, it doesn't actually matter. He's the 12th ranked player, 10 and 7, 2 steals and 5 blocks, and that's with shooting 30% from the field. Brogdon, 25, 5 and 5. Sabonis played 41 minutes on a back-to-back and had 19, 10 and 5. Got the game winner as well. While with Victor Oladipo sitting, Aaron Holiday started and he farted in all of our mouths. He did have 3 steals, but only the 22 minutes. And Tony Warren Jr. played a lot, but it was just empty. It just felt like nothing. 17 points in 38 minutes with 5 rebounds. At least the minutes are back up for Warren, which is encouraging after what happened in that first night. He's going to settle into that 50 to 80 range, I would imagine, this season. He's currently ranked, if I just have a look, 180th. So he will come in from there, almost no doubt about that. TJ McConnell remains one of the best assist streamers in the business. 7 assists for him coming off the bench. Let us go on now to the next game. The Golden State Warriors, they get a win over the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to play the Hello Darkness because last time I did, YouTube decided to demonetize me. Thanks for that. But you know how it is. If you're a Bulls fan, man, this team is just frustrating as shit. For the Warriors, Steph Curry had 36 points with 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 triples. Yeah, the first couple weren't great for Steph. He hit all 9 from the line. He was 5 of 15 from 3, so he's still got room to get better. He was pretty good. And if I'm going to shit on this guy, I've got to give him some credit. Andrew Wiggins, 19, 9 and 4 in 36 minutes, significantly better than he was prior to that. But it wasn't either of those guys who hit the game winner because Damo Lee, out of nowhere, 12 points with 4 triples for the game-winning 3. And Eric Pascal came off the bench for 15 points with 2 steals. Now, Draymond's going to miss one more game here, so Pascal's not someone that we're really looking at. There is no Marquise Chris, he's out for the season, but as you know, that didn't really do anything for Blunty's minutes. And someone asked me this in the live stream today, hey, why do you call James Wiseman Blunty? What's with the sound? Is it because he smokes blunts? No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's because that song that I play is called Wise Man. Simple as that. James had 7 points in 23 minutes and a 1-1. Now, something I've stressed about Wiseman, as you've seen in my recaps on Basketball Monster, if you've seen them, all his production came in garbage time. Now, I think he's going to be good and his minutes are going to push up, but he still is very slow at recognizing things offensively and defensively. And when games count, he's just not going to be out there at this point. They're going to get those minutes into him, and he just destroyed in those junk time minutes in those other games, and that really boosted his numbers up. So just be aware of that. If you want to get the ultimate buy low, again, this is a teaser for my buy low show tomorrow. Kelly Oubre shot 19% on 16 shots. 8 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals. He's not as good as many were predicting him to be. He's also not this bad. He's not the 239th ranked player in fantasy. This is the ultimate buy low for Kelly Oubre. For the Bulls, people were, man, Zach LaVine, I'm worried. He had 33, 7 and 3 with 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 4 triples. Let's not get overexcited here. Good stuff from LaVine. Well, Larry Markkinen is shooting at a very, very high level at the moment. There is going to be regression there, but 23 and 7 with 4 threes is really strong. Just watch for that regression. Also, he left this game late with a calf contusion, so we need to watch that. But the usage is a little bit higher than expected, but it's the efficiency that's really up. There could be some sell high there if he didn't get injured. I feel good. I'll tell you why I feel good, because I've been telling you about Big Wendell and about how I think he's going to be really good. And to be honest, he's made me look like an idiot. But this is why I thought he was good. 22, 13, and 4, 89% shooting. Now, I fully will admit he's never going to do that again, and he's not going to get to play the Warriors every game. But this is why I thought he was good, because he was good. He was good in Duke. He was good in this game. Don't drop him. Hold on. And don't drop Kobe White. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 triples, 42% from the field is a little bit rough, and no free throws isn't ideal. Not a great night from Pat Williams, 6 and 4 in 26 minutes. He had the 3 blocks. I'm giving him a bit of rope. I would hold him over Isaac Okoro, and I would hold him over Denny Avdia, the other rookie wings. But there's going to be some ups and downs for sure. And when Thad Young comes back, it could get even rougher. Let's see how they run that rotation. But Thad might just move into Markkanen's spot if Lowry has to miss any time, which we don't know at this point. All right, on to the next game. The Phoenix Suns get revenge after their loss on the weekend to the Kings. They get this one 116-100 on the road. How's the offensive explosion from Mikal Bridges? 22 and 7, 4 triples and a block. He's been awesome to start this season. We all knew that he was going to be in for a big one, but not this big. He is a top 40 player at this point. Really, really strong stuff. While Cam Johnson on fire. 7 of 9 from the field. 21 points, including 3 threes. The minutes are discouraging, but it helps when this bloke's in front of you.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Crowder had 2 points in 26 minutes. Johnson probably is the better option, but he's just at this point a threes and points streamer. Devin Booker, 25 and 5 with 2 steals, and DeAndre Ayton, still not quite there. 11 and 15 is okay, but it's not where we want it to be. He has been disappointing so far. Cameron Payne with the 6 assists and 2 steals off the bench. An interesting stream play. Interestingly enough, Payne is a top 130 player in 18 minutes so far. Good 14 to 16 team league guy. Chris Paul still hasn't got it going. Only the 8 points with 12 assists, but that's not outrageously bad. While Frank the Tank Kaminsky looks to be the backup center with 19 minutes and 11 points. That's only of use to those of you in deeper leagues because Damian Jones, realistically, should not play another minute in the NBA ever again. Still no Etuan Moore out of the rotation. They even gave Tyshawn Alexander playing time over him. Be interesting to see what happens with Kaminsky when Dario Saric returns, because Saric should move into that role. For the Kings, Tyrese Halliburton was great again. 15 points, 6 assists. I think we've got to look at him as a 14-team must-add, but probably even a 12-teamer at this point. Rashawn Holmes, 8 and 11, 2 steals and a block. Limited minutes, but good production. Let's talk about this bloke, Hassan Whiteside. I thought that he'd get 20, 21 minutes a night, maybe, and that would make him a useful player. He is not, and you know why? And this is why I thought he would do it, because it's the Kings. He sucks. He's actually really bad. And they are playing him up to his talent level. That's why he's not playing. You want to drop him? Go ahead. Get rid of him. He's shithouse. If he's not playing 20 minutes a night, he's useless. Marvin Bagley had a Marvin Bagley game, 11 and 8 with not a lot else, 39% from the field. I think he is a borderline 12-team league guy. He is for points. He's fine. Category leagues, no thank you. Probably on that. Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth with Bagley. I wouldn't, fret if I saw him on the wire and go, shit, why is Bagley on the wire? But if I had him, I'd also be like, yeah, okay, I can see what he's doing. I probably drafted him for a specific reason. Bud Hield had 17 points, while the pencil, Harrison Barnes. Barnesy. What are we doing? He's not a 12-team league guy. 10 and 7, not great here from him. While De'Aaron Fox was pretty miserable. 12 points, 0 threes, 0 rebounds, 0 steals, 0 blocks. He might be a little bit of a buy low guy at this point. Not the greatest night for the Kings, just in general. Their whole team struggled. The takeaways there, you can look at Halliburton as an ad, and you can absolutely kick Whiteside's ass, not only off your team, but just out of the league as quickly as possible. The minimum salary is what they paid him, because that is what he's worth, and they shouldn't even be playing him in the rotation if we're going to be fair. I would love to see them go with Barnes at power forward, Bagley playing backup 4 and 5, and get Whiteside out of there. He sucks. He's not good. And I won't die in this hill because I'm going to be very much alive with that take. He's not good and he sucks. And I'll say it again, he sucks. Get rid of him, drop him, get him out of your roster. 12 teamers, go. He can go. So can Harrison Barnes. All right, let's go on to the last game of the night, and it was an absolute blowout. The Lakers beating the Timberwolves 127-91 in the end. Karl Anthony Towns, before the game, before game 2 hours before, we heard, it's fine. He's probable. And then it was discovered that he has a dislocation of his wrist and he's week to week. Now, they don't think it's too severe, but week to week would mean he's missing at least a week, probably 2 weeks here. So Naz Reid got the start. 28 minutes for Reid, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Now, he's going to be inefficient. 39% from the field. He's going to get into foul trouble. And it's only going to be short term. But in that short term, Reid is worth an ad if you've got that streaming spot. That's why you have a streaming spot for someone like Naz Reid. D'Angelo Russell was terrible. 4 points in 21 minutes with 3 assists. I'm telling you now, Ricky Rubio is a better player than Russell. Now, they won't play Rubio over him most nights, so Russell's fine, and it is a buy low fantasy moment, but he's not good. Anthony Edwards got 29 minutes, 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, 29% from the field, 30% usage, just chucking up shots, and did a lot of that damage in garbage time. That makes it hard to roster him, but I don't mind it for his points volume. Well, Jarrett Culver had 8 and 4 with a steal and a block. Now, Culver looks better, but he's still more of that 14-team league guy than a 12-teamer. I think you want to have a look at what Jared Vanderbilt did here. 15 minutes, 2 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals and a block, and what Jaden McDaniels did. 6 points, 2 threes, 2 steals and a block. Now, it is a lot of garbage time, but they're power forwards. They are garbage time. Juancho Hernangomez and Jake Layman are trash. They are the worst power forward combination in this entire league by a significant margin. McDaniels and Vanderbilt, if we see them break into the rotation or get a starting spot, watch them. That was really, really intriguing to see what they did here. Malik Beasley, you know what I think about him. He's really dependent on volume and minutes, and he played 24 minutes and had 8 points on 9 shots because it didn't go in. I think that he's probably worth holding in a 12-team league, but I don't believe that's necessarily going to continue all season. Well, Josh Okogie only played 11 minutes as cramping put him out of action. He's still just that deeper league guy who was getting a really, really good run at things. There was no Anthony Davis for the Lakers, so Marc Gasol played 21 minutes.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Actually, I phrased that poorly. Anthony Davis being out has nothing to do with Gasol playing. He's good. Well, let's rephrase again. He was good in this game because he was shit in the first 2. But 21 minutes, 12, 7, and 8 with 4 blocks, perfect 4 of 4 from the field. And this is why I was stressing about Montrezl Harrell on opening night, sell high, because Gasol wasn't going to play 12 minutes a night. 21 for Gasol, only 20 for Harrell. Now, the blowout has an impact on that, but he only had 12 points with a steal and a block. I'm not dropping Harrell, but just remember that some of those early performances weren't what's going to be the regular for him. Same with Dennis Schroeder, who had just 11 points in 25 minutes. Kyle Kuzma started out on fire. He always seems to play well when Davis or LeBron sit. 20 points in 29 minutes, 3 blocks, 4 triples, and 3 rebounds for Kuz. The future MVP could be a stream option for Monday. I imagine Davis is back and LeBron might sit because he did tweak his ankle in this one. 18, 9, and 5 for LeBron. And with Davis out, Taylor Horton-Tucker played. Now, there's no denying that Horton-Tucker's good and he can produce. 21 minutes, 12 points, 2 threes, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He is like a prime Nick Batum in terms of fantasy value if he could get those minutes. He just can't get those minutes on this team. He's a watch player. He's a deep league guy. When someone sits, he's going to push in. He's probably better than Wes Matthews. Maybe he's better than Alex Caruso. He's probably better than Markieff Morris at this point. He's a name to watch, but until he can get consistent minutes, it's hard to have him in a 12-team league unless you're just willing to sit on it and stash for a little bit of time. But he showed again what he can do preseason, regular season, playoffs. He's shown it pretty much wherever he's been over the last 8 months of basketball or 8 months of real time and 2 weeks of basketball. But he's been putting up those numbers, and he did it again today in this game. So shout out to Taylor Horton-Tucker. That's it. That's Sunday's action gone. Let's flick it across to Monday to have a look what we might be expecting from a DFS point of view for FanDuel over there. All right, the first game we look at here is the Pistons and the Hawks. There is no Blake Griffin or Derrick Rose for this game, while Sekou Demboya is probable and Jahlil Okafor is questionable. Clint Capella has been upgraded to probable for the Hawks, and Danilo Gallinari, the Italian cock,
Hands off my cock!
he is questionable. In terms of value here on FanDuel, I really like Delon Wright at 4,200, and I think Killian Hayes at 38, with really no other point guard there to take those minutes, is a strong option, as is Mason Plumlee at 6,000 and Josh Jackson. Really, all of the value is lying on the Pistons side of this matchup. You've got Doumbouya at minimum salary too. You can also have a crack at maybe Sadiq Bey if you want to really differentiate yourself. Maybe they start Bey over Doumbouya. I don't know about that, but he's a minimum salary player too. On the Hawks side, it's tough to get value there. Maybe Cam Reddish at 41 in a GPP. Trae Young at 9,800 looks solid for cash with maybe limited upside, but we don't know how it's all going to work with Clint Capella out there. And if Gallinari plays, that's pretty much a full squad, and how that usage gets distributed leaves me with some questions just about how that's all going to look for the Atlanta Hawks. So definitely some question marks there. The second game we look at is the Memphis Grizzlies, and it is the Brooklyn Nets. Now, at this point, I don't expect Spencer Dinwiddie to play, who left Sunday's game with a knee injury, and I'm not expecting Kevin Durant to play because it is a back-to-back. Now, Kyrie Irving, I'm not sure. That's up in the air. DeAnthony Melton is out for the Grizzlies. For some reason, Dylan Brooks, yes, I know he's terrible, but he is at 3,700. He is the absolute guaranteed FanDuel lock of the day at that price. You cannot avoid him in cash, and in fact, in GPPs, you cannot avoid him at that price. Valanciunas at 72 looks all right for cash, and I think the 4,600 for Kyle Anderson looks okay. And I think we've really got to invest in Karis LeVert, especially if we hear that Kyrie is out in addition to KD, in addition to Spencer Dinwiddie. LeVert at 6,300, who's been a little bit under in the last couple of games, can really bring that up. We can look at 3,600 for Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, and if you want to get a bit wild, 3,900 for Taurean Prince, but I'm not all that interested in the artist formerly known as Taurean Prince. Jared Allen's at 5,700. He's been pretty good at that price. I wouldn't say he's spectacularly good. I wouldn't say that he is spectacularly reliable at that price either, but he's not bad. Ja Morant at 8,500, absolutely love that. He's putting up some good numbers at this point, averaging what he's averaging 56 FanDuel points so far. That looks pretty good to me. Kyrie's at 94. I reckon coming off 36 minutes in a back-to-back, I wouldn't want to get involved in that. Next up, it is the Jazz. It is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Probably should give you some odds for these, brought to you by Bet Online at the moment. The Hawks are 9-point favorites for that early game. And in this one, the Jazz are 7-point favorites. They don't have a Grizzlies Nets line up yet because we're waiting on the status of Dinwiddie and Durant, I'm sure. All right. Let's have a look now at Utah and OKC. Horford's at 5,700. Look, he barely scored in the first game, but still had 25 FanDuel points. So to me, that gives him some GPP value. I love Gilgeous-Alexander at 78. And I love Darius Bazley at 5,800. Both really strong values. Same with Jordy Clarkson at 45, although Clarkson's upside is limited because his minutes are limited. He's never going to come out and play 34 a night. He's going to come in, he might score 20 real-life points and do very little else. So he's got some value. Rudy Gobert, the big Frenchman.
Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert.
Like, he could really have his way with Al Horford at 7,700. And I think Don Mitchell at 79 is also pretty good. Not sure there's massive monster upside for either of them, but they're both really good floor values. I'd prefer Gobert over Mitchell. Lou Dort's at 47. He looks to be the goods at that price, while Teo Maledon, minimum salary player. Just keep an eye on Teo. He had 20 minutes in the opening game. 9 points only, but 20 minutes is the key number there, and that could be an interesting differentiator with him in your lineup versus others. I'm not that keen on George Hill, who's jumped up to 5,400, so just be aware that that price has risen for Georgie. The Rockets and the Nuggets, no Boogie Cousins, no John Wall, no Eric Gordon, no Mason Jones. Half the team is out. So there's going to be big numbers coming up. The Nuggets are also without JaMychal Green, so Paul Millsap's at 4,500. Now, it didn't really work out, and by didn't really work out, I mean it didn't work out at all on Christmas, but he had a 28-pointer in the Nuggets opener, and at 4,500, I think there is value in using him. Daniel Apartment's at 4,100, more of a GPP guy, and Mickey Porter at 59. I think I'll steer clear. I love the crucifix. 8,100 for Christian Wood. That looks great. I love Jayshawn Tate at 42, although I'm less into him than I was the other day. Well, Jimmy Harden at 11.5. If Harden doesn't get 60, I will be absolutely flummoxed. He should get that. And Big Chungus, $10,000 for Nikola Jokic. Look, he should get 50, and he should do it really comfortably. So I like him. The headmaster, Jamal Murray's been quiet, but at 7,100, he's got that real upside ability. And if you want to go a little bit wild, minimum salary Sterling Brown, he's probably not going to be great, but he could get you 25. He could get you 26, maybe, if things go right. That's only just a GPP differentiator type of play. The last game is the Blazers. It is the Lakers. The Lakers, of course, coming off the back-to-back. I think Anthony Davis will play on Monday. I'm not sure about LeBron. He rolled his ankle again on Sunday. There's a chance that he sits this one out. And, of course, that opens up that value for Kuzma and Horton Tucker in that situation if LeBron is out, especially Kuzma, but it also helps guys like Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, and Anthony Davis will have an opportunity to be absolutely massive in LeBron's absence if that is indeed what happens. Carmelo Anthony's out for the what's the name? The Blazers as well. 3,600 for Derek Jones. That's a good play with Melo out. I like Nurkic at 68, although probably more for tournament. And Gary Trent at 3,600. Really, look, he was shit house last game, but he is going to absorb a lot of those Melo minutes, I think. And at 3,600, there's 25, 28 point upside. That makes sense. 10-2 for Anthony Davis. I like it. I also like Robert Covington at 52. For a GPP look. Lillard's at 9,400. That looks okay to me. Well, Schroeder's price is up a little bit too much. $1,000 to $6,000. It's not outrageous, but I think it looks maybe just a little bit high to me for Dennis Schroeder. That's it for today's show. Don't forget, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, thumbs up, tell everyone, hit the bell, hit the notification, give it a 5-star review, guys. We are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.